Hare Krishna Prabhujis and Matajis, thank you all for joining. We are in the Bhagavad Gita summary study program where we are going through chapter by chapter, 18 chapters in 18 days, very high level overview. We completed 8 chapters. We are in chapter 9. My name is Patita Pavana Balaram Das. I am from the Bhaktariksha team in New Jersey. So we'll get started with chapter 9 today. I'll share my screen. Can everyone see my screen? Okay, Hari Bol. So we are discussing about the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is also essence of all the Vedic scriptures. It is called Gita Upanishad because it contains all the essence of the Vedas in there. Before we discuss about any spiritual topics, we say a few prayers to seek the mercy from the Supreme Lord and the previous Acharya. So please say, unmute yourself and please let's say together. Please say along with me. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So we are dedicating this program to ISKCON founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and we are inspired to do this program by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. He is a senior member in ISKCON and is also a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. We are reading the glories of Bhagavad Gita, so we'll read one more glory from the scriptures. Anyone wants to read the the verse in the translation? Okay, you can say after me. Ye shrunvanti patanti eva
ये
शृण्वन्ति
शृण्वन्ति
पतन्ति
पतन्ति
एव
एव
Gita Shastramahar
गीताशास्त्रम्
गीताशास्त्रम्
अहर्निशम्
अहर्निशम्
नते वै मनुषज्ञेया
न
न
ते
तैव
वै मनुष्यज्ञेया
मनुषज्ञेया
देवरूप न संशयः.
देवरूप न
देवरूप न संशयः।
संशयः।
Someone wants to read the translation?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, go ahead.
One who day and night hears and recites the Gita is never to be taken as a mere human being. Without a doubt, he is veritable God.
Jai, thank you, Prabhuji. So anyone who is very much interested in hearing and reciting Bhagavad Gita both throughout the day and night, we should not consider him to be an ordinary human being. He or she might be a god or goddess who has taken form in this world. So it is also mentioned that in this Kali Yuga, especially during this time, the different devatas are standing in line to take birth in the human form of life because this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's moment is going on, and the means of getting liberation becomes so easy. And we have seen in the previous chapters, right? Even somebody is in the Abrahma Bhuvanal Loka, anywhere in this material world, they are there. They have to go through this Bhavarogas, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi. So, in order to escape that, they are now standing in line to take birth in the human form of life and participate in this Hare Krishna movement and get away from this material world altogether. So, we'll do a quick recap after chapter 8. So, what is the secret? What is the title of chapter 8?
Attaining Supreme.
Attaining the Supreme.
Akshara Brahma Yoga.
Yep. So what is the secret of attaining the Supreme Lord? Which is whatever state of mind we are at the time of leaving the body, that state we will achieve. So if we at the end of the life, if we are thinking only or remembering only Krishna, then we'll attain his abode for sure. But if we are thinking of something else, then that state we will achieve. So we have to be very careful, and we can't think that I will not prepare, and at the end I will try to remember the question, remember the answer. The answer will not come. But if you keep practicing the answer for some question every day throughout your like the 1 year practice in the school or college, then you will remember that easily. So same thing. If you think that, oh, I will remember Krishna towards end of my life, I will do all my material sense gratification activities, it will not work that way. Whatever we are so much attached to will only come towards our end of life, and that's why we should do practice throughout the life. And that's what we just read. Abharma Bona Loka. So anywhere in this material world, the 14 planetary systems, all the way from Brahma Loka to Patala Loka, they have to go through the repeated birth and death. And only if we get out of from this material world, then we'll be able to get permanent happiness. And how is it possible? By taking to Ananya Bhakti. Firstly, we have to take to the Bhakti Yoga process, and in the Bhakti Yoga, the topmost is the Ananya Bhakti, which is unalloyed devotion. So we will see what is now chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge. So we discussed about confidential knowledge, more confidential knowledge, and now the most confidential knowledge. Guhyam, Guhyataram, Guhyatamam. Guhyam means the confidential knowledge is that we are not this body. Every one of us, we have an individuality. The individuality is the soul that resides within this body. So the body that we have is, so there are so many kalpas. Means one kalpa is one Satya Yuga, one Treta Yuga, one Dwapara Yuga, one Kali Yuga. These four yugas together is called one Yuga cycle. And 1,000 of those Yuga cycles will be one day of Brahma. Like that, is called Kalpa. So these things will go on again and again and again and again. And whoever is in this material world, they keep taking birth again and again. But what we have to understand is, depending upon our nature and our what activities that we do, we get a particular type of body. So that means that if you go to a carousel in an exhibition, like we might be sitting on a horse body, like the horse thing that goes around. And next time when we get off and get in, we might be sitting on an elephant. The horse that we sat in, somebody else might be sitting on that next time, which means that in this kalpa, I might be sitting here, this body might be sitting here and talking about this, and but in the next kalpa, the same body might be speaking here, but the soul that is inside the body might be different. So that will help us identify that we are not this body. The body will keep on going as per the three modes of material nature, like an ongoing play again and again. But depending upon which soul that resides in it, based on the karma, we have to understand that is our real identity. We have to, if we keep associating with the body, then we'll always be stuck in this material world, in that bodily consumption. And that is the guhyam. Guhya taram means more confidential than that is, okay, why are you here? We are here to enjoy. What we understand is this place, this material world, chapter 8, is a dukkhalayam ashashvatam, is not a place for real enjoyment. Not many people know that, because everybody thinks that, okay, this is what we are given and we have to live there. But the more confidential knowledge is, there is the Parandhama, there is a place above this material world. It's a spiritual world where there is permanent happiness, and now we have to get there. Now the Guhya Tamam, the most confidential knowledge. Of course, in chapter 8, it is mentioned that in order to get to the Parandhama, we have to do devotional service. Now, the most confidential knowledge is, what is that ultimate devotional service? What is the pure devotional service? We read, right? Ananya Bhakti. That Ananya Bhakti is elaborated in more detail in chapter 9. That's why it's called the most confident. Krishna says there is nothing more than this. Sri Bhagavan Vacha.
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Idam tu te guhyatamam.
idam
idam
tu te
tu te
guhyatamam
guhyatamam
प्रवक्ष्यामि अनसूयवे
pravashyami
pravakshyama
anasuyave
ज्ञानं
anasuyave
विज्ञानसहितं
gnanam
gnanam
vijnana
vijnana
sahitam
sahitam
यज्ञात्वा मोक्षयसे अशुभात्
yajnatva
yajnatva
mokshayase
mokshayase
subhat.
subhat.
Anyone wants to read the translation?
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence."
So, so we can think this way. The confidential knowledge is who? Who are you? Who am I? I am the soul, not the body. More confidential knowledge is what is that place we have to go to, which is the spiritual abode. And the most confidential knowledge is how to get there, which is the devotional service. Who, what, how. So basically, and why we all know. Why is because we don't want to be in a place where is constant misery. So what Krishna is saying is, okay, he gave the initial knowledge that all the kings that you see here in chapter 2 that he said that or have been ever existing. The soul doesn't have birth, it was eternal and all. Then the more confidential knowledge he gave is to Arjuna about the transcendental knowledge in chapter 4. What are the two qualifications he told that Arjuna, why he is giving that knowledge to Arjuna? Anyone remembers? What are the two things we have to have in order to understand the transcendental knowledge?
Jignasa is one.
Can you repeat, Mataji?
Is that Jignasa is one. You have to have Kutuhalam to find out.
Yes,
Or
that is us. But why would Krishna? So Krishna gave in chapter 4, if you remember, why Krishna gave that knowledge only to Arjuna?
Because Arjuna is the dearest devotee of Krishna.
That is one. What is the other
because
one?
he has surrendered to him
Yeah, well, that
completely
is the
to
first one.
us.
Devotees will always surrender. What is the second qualification?
Friend.
His friend, yes.
And
Bhaktosi me sakha means Krishna is saying, "Oh Arjuna, because you are my dear friend and you are also a devotee of me, I am revealing this knowledge." Now, that is the qualification for the more confident. What is the qualification to receive the most confidential knowledge? Can someone guess from this verse?
because he's not envious of the
Yes,
Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna.
yes. So, whoever is, because Arjuna is not envious of me, anasuya way. Asuya means envy, anasuya means not envious. So that is the qualification to receive the most confidential knowledge. So if we are envious of Krishna, all of us, the fact that we are in this material world, don't think that I'm not. Yeah, at this point of time, we might not be envious, but at one point we have been envious. That's why we came to into this material world because in the spiritual world, everybody has a loving relationship with the Supreme Lord. There is all. So one thing you have to understand is in the spiritual world there is love. That love gets transformed into lust, means kama, means desires in the material world. The love or the desire in the spiritual world is always to be in a loving relationship with the Supreme Lord. When there is love, there is no envy. You have to understand that. So in the spiritual world, there is zero envy. The envy is the first thing that comes, and then that's why people fall into the material world. So if we want to go back, we have to first we have to get rid of the envy. If we are envious to the Supreme Lord, what does envy mean? Envy means in the spiritual world there is Krishna and Krishna or Vishnu or all the Krishna Vishnu tattvas, and everybody is in a relationship with them, always loving them, serving them. The moment we get why is that person enjoying, why I cannot enjoy, that is envy, right? The moment that we get that, then obviously we come to this material world where we are given the opportunity to become Lord ourselves. So if we can't get out of that, why I cannot be Krishna, why I cannot be Vishnu, why I cannot be Narsimha, why I cannot be God myself, Aham Brahmasmi. So those thoughts will come. Then when we think that I am the Supreme Lord, I am the Supreme Lord, I am the God, then we have to be in this material world. So, and it's not that it is incorrect, right? So this place is like that. If you see people who constantly meditate on the Aham Brahmasmi, they get so many yogic powers. And typical, and if you think about it, in the material world, they are kind of, they have all the qualities or the yogic powers as much as like the Supreme Lord, but not completely. And people will get to say, "Oh, you're great guru, you're great person," like that, and then they get puffed up, and they again fall down with all the yogi powers will go away. But that is not the case in the spiritual world. We should not have any envy. The main thing is, Aham Brahmasmi means I am God like. Means if you we are parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. If we are like the different parts, our finger is a part of the body, ear is a part of the body, and if it is something part of the body, it is body. It's similar to the body, but it is not the body itself. So same thing. We are different parts of the body. We are God like. Aham Brahmasmi means I am God like. And but we think that I am God. No, that is not the case. So what we have to understand is, if we don't have envy towards the Supreme Lord, then this most confidential knowledge will come. And that is also called Vijnana. Jnana means knowledge. Vijnana means the knowledge of the absolute, the complete knowledge. You go to the next one. So what is the advantage of getting this knowledge? And what is the quality of, or the characteristics of this most confidential knowledge? Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam,
Rajavidya
Rajavidya
Rajaguhyam
Rajamukyam
Pavitram Idam Uttamam,
Pavitram
Pavitram
Idamuttamam
Uttamam
Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam,
Prityakshaavagamam
Pratyakshavagam
Dharmyam
Susukam Kartum Avyayam.
Sukham
Susukam
Sukham
Kartum
Kartum
Avyayam.
Avyayam.
Anyone wants to read the translation?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of realization. Religion, it is everlasting and it is joyfully performed.
Jai, thank you, Mataji. So you see here the characteristics. It is the king of all knowledge or education. It is also Raja Vijaya Pavitram, purest. Uttamam means the topmost. And Pratyakshavagama means when we can perceive that knowledge ourselves. Means if we start practicing, we'll see the results right away. Unlike the other processes, this process, if you completely surrender to the Supreme Lord and work towards the Supreme Lord, as what are things mentioned in this chapter, by using that process, you will see that the Lord's hand will be in your life every step of the way. And Susukam Kartumama, it's not like you have to practice your yoga, your body, bend, put your like struggle to put some yogic poses. We sit in that position where your legs and things are paining, hands are paining, or if you don't have to leave your family, you don't have to go through that. It is Susukam. You just have to do whatever you are doing and add Krishna into your life. Then it becomes, it's joyfully performed. Susukam Kartam. Avyaya means it is everlasting. It is not like anything that we do here. It's like the thing that we material knowledge we discussed, right? It is you after we are done, we have to again start in the next life from ABCD. But whatever activities that we do here, we continue from there, and it is always everlasting. And what is Krishna saying? Mayadhyakshena Prakriti
Mayadakshen
Mayadhyakshate
Prakriti
Soyate Sacharacharam
Suyate
Suyate
Sacharacharam
Sacharacharam
Hetunanena Kaunteya
Hetunanena
Hetunam
Kaunteya
Kaunteya
Jagat Viparivartate.
Jagat
Jagat
Viparivartate.
Viparivarte.
Translation, anyone?
This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti. producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again.
So he is now telling the futility of this material world. It is in the sense like the characteristic of the material world. It goes created, it gets created and annihilated again and again. And also he's saying that it is his energy only. It is one of his energies. So remember the three energies that we discussed. What are Krishna's three energies? The material energy, the spiritual energy, and the marginal energy. We are all under the what energy?
Material energy.
Marginal. So we are in between. We can decide to stay in the spiritual world, or we can decide to stay in the material world. But the material world is a dull matter, which is basically under the control of Ishvara. And it gets created and annihilated. It is also temporary. It appears to be the manifestation is temporary, but the energy is there always. Who will not understand Krishna? He is saying that Avajananti Mamuda
Avajananti Mamuda
Manushim Tanumashritam
Manushim Tarinasritam
Parambavam Ajananto
Parambhavam Ajananto
Mama Bhuta Maheshwaram.
Mama Bhuta Maheshwaram.
Please read the translation, anyone?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Fools deride me. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the supreme lord of all that be.
Yeah, thank you very much. So basically, why people are envious of Krishna is, or the Supreme Lord, he comes in as a human form. He comes like an ordinary king, like Rama or Krishna himself. And people think that you see in the example of Rama also, the people after he brought Sita back, people did thought he is an ordinary human being and thought that he was making a mistake of bringing Sita back, and they passed some comments. So because they think that the Supreme Lord is an ordinary human being. No, janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvatah tyaktva devam punarjanma naiti mamiti suarjana. We have to understand the trans and divine nature. The divya means divine nature of the Supreme Lord's appearance. He doesn't come under like he doesn't come as an ordinary human being. He comes with his own energy and in his own transcendental form.
It means he is not born as a result of karma.
Yes, so he is not bound by karma. Karma is only applicable to the material world, but he is above that. So karma will not be applicable. So, and anything that is his energy is in under control. For example, you have some energy, right? You have some power in the office. Then you also have control. Similarly, this material world is Krishna's energy. Anything in the material world is also under his control, which means that the karma that is binding us all, if Krishna decides, that will be going off within his just with his thought. But why fools deride is they think that he is an ordinary human being. They don't understand that. Some people will even, some learned people, they will make the mistake, say that, oh, Krishna, there will be some movies that came recently. They try to glorify Krishna, saying that, hey, he's an ordinary human being. He became a god to show that you can become a god. But unfortunately, that is not the case. Even though it might be very pleasing and inspiring to hear, we have to understand the difference, that he is not an ordinary human being. He doesn't come as an ordinary human being. And some people even go to the extent saying that he was born as a baby, and then after 16 years he went to a mountain top, he sat there for meditation, and then he was able to get enlightenment and he came down as a different person. And I'm also similar to like that, where I sat in meditation for many years. I went through so many lifetimes doing Ashtanga yoga, and now I realized, no, they want to show that they are God and God is similar to a human being. No, that is not the case. If that was the case, Krishna was 6 months old when he killed Putana. And when he was 7 years old, when he lifted the Govardhana hill on his little finger, left hand little finger, and he stood there for 7 days and 7 nights. Which human being can do all those pastimes? No one. And there are no scriptural references also. So that is what the simple logical thing we have to ask. If Krishna did all those things, How is it possible unless he is the Supreme Lord? He is not a human being. We have to understand. And the moment we think that Krishna is an ordinary human being, we make mistakes and we become envious of him also, saying that if an ordinary human being is able to do that, then the question will come up, I am also an ordinary human being, why I cannot do that? And that leads to envy. But what will be the Mahatmas do? Mahatmanastu mam partha
Mahatmanastu Mapartha
daivim prakritim ashritaah
दैवीं
Daivim
प्रकृतिम्
Prakritim
आश्रिताः
bhajanti ananya manaso
Bhajanti
भजन्त्यनन्यमनसो
Ananya Manaso
gnatva bhutadim avyayam.
Gnatva
ज्ञात्वा
Bhutadim Avyayam.
भूताव्ययम्.
Anyone wants to read the translation?
O son of Partha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible.
So the secret is this. Thank you, Mataji. The secret is this. If we are envious of the Supreme Lord and if we think that we are the Lord, we come under the control of the Lord's external energy or the material energy. But if we understand Krishna's real position, that he is the Supreme Lord, and start rendering devotional service to him, we immediately come under his Daivi Prakritim, means the divine energy, which is the supreme, the what is that? The internal energy. So we discussed, right? Internal energy, external energy, and the marginal energy. So the marginal energy, if they think they are the Lord, they are under the control of material energy. If they understand that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and if they render service to him, they immediately come under the protection of the divine energy. So that's why we can understand that when Lord comes under the protection of the divine energy, everything is arranged um, for that person to further progress in devotional service and attain ultimately the supreme abode, go back home, back to Godhead. And what do those devotees who understand the Supreme Lord do? What do they generally do? Satatam kirtayanto mam
Satatam Kirtayanto Mam
yatantascha dradavrataha
यतन्तश्च
Yatantascha
दृढव्रताः
Dradavrataha
namasyantascha mam bhaktya
नमस्यन्तश्च
Namaskyantascha
मां
Mam
भक्त्या
Bhaktya
nityayukta upasate.
नित्ययुक्ता
Nityayukta
उपासते.
Upasate.
Can you someone read the translation?
Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with a great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Once we understand that Krishna is the Supreme Lord and he is approachable through devotional service, these Mahatmas, they immediately take to this devotional service. And if you see, the word Dhradavrata also came. So we read in chapter 2 Dhradavrata. Also in previous chapter we read Dhradavrata who have determination to do that, and also now means their determination is strong. Oh, this is what I have to do. I have to always serve the Supreme Lord. I have to render loving devotional service. And they always, how they do that is by chanting the Lord's glories. Means like thinking about the Supreme Lord, chanting his pastimes, discussing about all the great things he did, and also chanting the actual chanting process, everything. And so there were some verses in between about the people who don't do that. But now again, coming back to the person who does that, what does Krishna do to them? The question we discussed a couple of classes there, right? Oh, Prabhuji, or this Prabhu is telling that do this devotional service. I have so many other things to do. I also don't have this. What if I have this particular thing? I have this responsibility, and or I want to achieve this goal. What are if I do this? What happens to them? What Krishna is saying is, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam
Ananyas Chintayanto Mam
Ye Jana Paryupasate
ये जना पर्युपासते
तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां
तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां
योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम्.
योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम्.
Anyone wants to read the translation?
But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have.
Jai. See that? We don't have to worry about anything. The things that we already have, Krishna will preserve. The things that we don't have, he will carry for us. And if you see the example of Prahlad Maharaj, uh, Hiranyakashipu tries to kill his own son. He first tries to persuade him, or then by force, by telling that don't worship Vishnu. I am the Lord of the universe. I have so many powers. I got powers from Brahma that I will not be faced. I will not die. Of course, there are some conditions he asks, and Brahma himself cannot give immortality. So then Hiranyakashipu says that you have to worship me, not Vishnu. Prahlad Maharaj continues to worship Vishnu only, Narayana. And Hiranyakashipu tries to kill him by putting him under by getting trampled by the elephant. And he puts in a place where there are a lot of snakes, and he throws them from the cliff. Every time Prahlad Maharaj comes out unscathed, or like without even a small thing, because he is always there protecting. And finally, when Hiranyakashipu get fed up and he says, "Show me the Supreme Lord," and when is he here? Then Prahlad Maharaj says, "There is no doubt. He is not. There is no question that he is here or there. He is everywhere." Then Hiranyakashipu asks, "Is this? Is he in this pillar?" And Prahlad Maharaj says, "Yes." And then when he was about to break the pillar, so Krishna make sure the Supreme Lord wants to make sure the whatever words the devotee says also has to stand true. So he immediately appears on the pillar because Prahlad Maharaj said that yes, the Supreme Lord is everywhere. He is also in the pillar. To make his words come true, he immediately comes there. And also, when the pillar breaks, he comes as in the form of Narsimha. And in the same, whatever, he's neither a human nor an animal. And he puts Hiranyakashipu neither in the air nor in the floor. He puts on his lap and kills. And the other great thing about this is here it is said Vahami Aham. Vahami means I carry, I personally carry. I personally carry, I personally take care of my devotee myself. Krishna has so many energies, so many expansions. Like if there is a king, we saw he has so many officers, right? If he wants to take care of person, a king, does he have to come himself? He can send his minister, he can send his Senapati means like the soldier, leader, commander, everyone, and that devotee will be taken care of, the person in the kingdom will be taken care automatically. But Krishna says Vahami means I personally come myself. So there was a pastime where uh, one Acharya, he is in the disciplic succession of the Sri Sampradaya. Yamunacharya, he is also, I think, the spiritual master of Ramanujacharya. Yeah, in that line, he was writing the translation for this verse from Bhagavad Gita. He's writing a commentary. He says that he's writing this from Sanskrit. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupashate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyam. He suddenly stopped here. Oh, Vahami. How can the Supreme Lord being so powerful? Vahami means personally coming and carrying. I think there was Vyasadeva might have made a mistake of writing Vahami. Let me strike it off and say um, Bhavami, or like I think Bhavati, or there is a Sanskrit word that corresponds to that, which means that I will make sure that I will take care of the Yogakshemam of that instead of I personally carrying. Then he writes that verse and he goes into the market to get some vegetables, and he tells his wife, I will come back in an hour or something. And meanwhile, two young boys come and knock on the door, and the wife opens. And they say that your husband is so cruel. He beat us in the marketplace without any mercy. But we still wanted to help you, Site. We wanted to give these vegetables and groceries. So I want to give you. And she's like, my husband is not like that. He's a nice person. He never hurt anyone. Why are you saying that he hurt you? You don't want to believe us? See, and they will turn back, and their back is full of as if whiplashes, the marks of the whip. Then the wife, she was like almost about to faint. Really, did it? Is it my husband who did that? Yes, they say, and then they go away. When the husband comes back, she starts saying that I thought you are a very nice person. Like, why did you cause this so much suffering to these two kids? And he doesn't understand. What are you talking? I did not do anything like that. Oh, and she says that these are those two kids also brought these groceries, and that what did they do this? Uh, they went where you were writing, and they went after they saw what you were writing, and they went away. Then when he goes and looks at he strikes off Wahami and puts another word, right? They again strike off that other word and change it to Wahami. Means they felt very that the Supreme Lord always wants to come himself. If you love someone, would you send someone to take care of someone, or would you personally go to help someone?
We personally go.
Personally go.
Personally go, right? So same thing. If the devotees are serving the Supreme Lord with complete devotion, the Lord himself comes. And if anyone thinks that he will not come, the Lord feels very sad and upset, because it is he Bhakta Vatsala. He is very much dear to his devotees, and he wants to personally do things himself. And how do we attain that kind of supreme, uh, pure devotional service? The answer is in this verse. Patram pushpam phalam toyam
Patram
Patram
pushpam
pushpam
phalam
phalam
toyam
यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति
yo
yo
me
me
bhaktya
bhaktya
prayachati
तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम्
tadaham
tadaham
bhaktyupahritam
bhaktयुpahritam
अस्नामि प्रयतात्मनः.
asnami prayatatmanaha.
Anyone wants to read the translation?
If one offers me with love and devotion, a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it.
Yeah, so the secret is we have to build a big house. We have to actually build a nice altar in there. We have to buy a lot of stuff. We have to arrange a huge festival. We have to invite all the friends. We have to glorify the Supreme Lord. We have to give everything to Him. We have to spend so much money, and then He will love us. Is that the case?
No.
No. He is saying that, see, it is all in the bhava, your mood. If you offer me with love a leaf, a tulsi leaf, a flower, any flower, a small fruit, and or even water, if you don't have any of those, so I will accept it. And that is the secret. The secret is we have to have the desire to serve the Supreme Lord always. And we think of so many obstacles or so many excuses. I don't have this to serve the Lord. I don't have that. I no. For serving the Supreme Lord in pure, and this is not the case for regular devotional service. This is the verse that is explained for pure devotional service. Pure devotees also, they don't have to worry about anything. All they can do is go to a river, go to a well, get some water, put a tulsi leaf in the water. So what you can do is, if you have an altar, if you have a picture of Krishna or Vishnu, Rama, anyone, just every day morning, as a habit, you or your kids, just put a little water in front of the Supreme Lord. That's it. Just Supreme Lord, or you can Krishna or Vishnu or whoever your Ishtadaiva is, and say that, oh Lord, please accept this water. And slowly and steadily you will understand that the love will be towards the Supreme Lord is increasing. And if you love someone, you want to give more and more, right? So let's think of it. Why do we, okay, do we love our parents more, or do we love our kids more?
We love our kids.
Kids more. So our parents, did they love their parents more, or did they love us more?
They love us.
They loved us more. And in that love they keep giving, because it's like a mutual thing. The more you give to someone, the more you love them. The more you love them, the more you give to them. And if you The kids we unconditionally love because we keep on giving them, and automatically we love them. And in that love, we again keep giving them. So same thing. If we want to love the Supreme Lord, the easiest thing is to start giving them slowly. In the sense, start giving them whatever you can. Start off with some water. As you gradually keep giving the Supreme Lord water, a flower, and then a fruit. After you are comfortable with giving water, you can also do every day morning. Take one nice fruit, cut it into pieces, and then put in front of the Supreme Lord and say, please accept it. Put it for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and bring it back and take it as prasadam. It's so simple. Devotional service is not at all hard. And if we can't reach that level of pure devotion, we can do yat karosi yadasnasi,
Yat karoshi yadasnasi,
yat juhosi dadasi yat,
yat juhoshi dadasi yat,
yat tapasyasi kaunteya,
Yat
yat
tapasya
tapasyasi kanteya,
tat kurushamadarpanam.
tat
tat
kurushva
kurushvamadarpanam.
Anyone wants to read the translation?
Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. Hare
Jai,
Krishna.
thank you, Mataji. So this is the verse that corresponds to the Karma Yoga. What Krishna is saying is, okay, if you cannot reach that Bhakti Yoga stage where you see me everywhere or see me at least as a deity form, you offer me the flower, fruit with pure love without anything return, at least do this. Whatever activity that you do, whatever that you eat, whatever you offer or give away, any charity that you do, or any austerities like Ekadasi fasting or some festival fasting, do it as an offering to me. Means if you are working, you always think that I am working for the sake of Krishna. If I'm eating, this is the food that was given to me by Krishna. If I'm giving in charity, Krishna gave me this ability to give away this charity to people and help people. If I'm doing austerities, Krishna gave me the strength to do, or the ability to do this austerity, to do this vrata. And automatically by doing that again and again, we want to keep giving the Lord in pure love. So this mood will take us into the previous one. Okay, now the question is, am I qualified to do that? Okay, Prabhu, Krishna is saying this, but I have so much abominable bad flashback. I did so many bad things. Am I qualified to devotional service, or should I do any other kinds of yoga? Krishna is saying, Apichet suduracharo
Api chet suduracharo,
bhajate mam ananyavak
bhajate
bhajate
mam ananyabha,
ananyabha
sadhureva samantastavya
sadhureva
sadhuryeva
samantavya
samantavya,
samyak vyavasito hi saha
samyak
samyak
vyavasito
vyavasito
hi
hi
saha
saha,
क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा
क्षिप्रं भवति
ram bhavati
धर्मात्मा,
dharmatma
शश्वच्छान्तिं निगच्छति
shasvat
शश्वश्चान्तिं
shantim
निगच्छति,
gachati
कौन्तेया प्रतिजानीहि
कौन्तेय
kaunteya
प्रतिजानीहि,
pratijani
न मे भक्त प्रणश्यति.
न मे
me
भक्तः
bhakta
प्रणश्यति.
pranashyati.
Anyone wants to read the translations?
Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. Thank
Jai,
you.
thank you, Mataji. So what Krishna is saying is, don't worry about what you did in the past, or you think that we might have had so many karmic reactions coming in your life. Take it up. Once you take it up, you become saintly, because devotional service is we did right. Bahunam Janmanam. If someone took it devotional service, they all tried all the other yoga process. Like for example, 10th grade, third class, fourth class, fifth class, we passed and came to 10th grade. We don't remember all the things that we did in third grade, fourth grade. That doesn't mean that we are in the 10th grade, we have to go and sit in the third grade class again, right? And also in the 10th grade, is everybody like a topper?
No.
Yeah, so somebody might be there like from ninth grade, they got 60% marks and came to 10th, some came with 70, some came with 80. So just because somebody in devotional service is doing so much nice devotional service and then um, able to render so much nice practice well, do preaching, do book distribution, or all the activities that are pertaining to the devotional service, somebody might be doing it so nicely doesn't mean that only they are qualified to go back. If you are in 10th grade, even if you get 60%, 70%, you'll get the certificate, right, that you completed high school. So same thing here. Don't worry about uh, some people being very great, or first of all, don't worry about sitting in third grade. Don't worry about doing karma yoga, gnana yoga, dhyana yoga. If you're doing bhakti yoga, all the things are automatically included in that. If you are serving Krishna in the mood, you're already doing Nishkama Karma Yoga. If you are reading the Bhagavad Gita and transcendental literature, you're already engaged in Jnana Yoga because you don't have to read all the Vedic scriptures. You're already reading the essence. And if you are doing this vratas and Ekadasi vrata and all, you're kind of maintaining your body and soul together very nicely and in synchronicity. So you don't have, you can, if you want to, you can do some yoga practices. That's fine. The asanas and all. Essentially what this means is don't have to go and sit in third grade, fourth grade, and at the same time when you're in 10th grade, you don't have to worry about somebody is running fast, somebody. As long as you're focused on surrendering the service to the Supreme Lord to you the best of your capacity, you will pass. You will go back, come back to Godhead. We all have that ability. So don't we don't have to compare where somebody is doing great, I'm not doing great. No, Krishna gave ability to all of us, and based on our ability, if we just perform the devotional service, we quickly attain everlasting peace. We Shantim it is Santim because it's like a Sandhi, two words, but here also the word Santi comes. The other place where we read Santi was 5.29. What is anyone remembers the verse? Bhoktaram yagna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gnatva mam santim ruchati means the peace formula is unless and until we bring the Supreme Lord into our life, Shanti will not be there. Because we have desires, we have difficulties. Desires will be gone or fulfilled by working, by doing karma. Of course, the problem with karma is we'll get karma back. But if we do yagna, karma will not come. But there is still these difficulties. Adi Daivik Klesha, Adi Bhautik Klesha, Adi Atmik Klesha, and the Bhavarogas. Those difficulties or miseries will be gone only if and only if we bring the Supreme Lord into our life. And by doing so, we immediately, if our desires are fulfilled, we get happiness. But if our difficulties and miseries are gone, we get peace. We need both happiness and peace. It's not like only let my desires get fulfilled, I will get happiness. But in the back of the mind, I'll always be miserable with the problems I have with my family, with the work I have, and all. If we need both happiness, our desires to be fulfilled, and we also need peace. For the peace to come, take one chance. Bring Krishna into your life. By starting this process of chanting, reading Bhagavad Gita, you will see that peace developing in all of our lives. And finally, what is that? This is one verse that is repeated twice in Bhagavad Gita. To understand, let us know what is the importance that comes in this chapter, last verse, and also it comes in chapter 18 also towards the end of Bhagavad Gita. Manmana bhava madbhakto
Manmana bhava madbhakto
madhyaji mam namaskuru
madhyaji mam namaskuru
mame vaishyasi yuktyavam
mame
Me vaishyase
yuktevam
atmanam matparayanaha.
atmanam
atmanam matparayanaha.
Anyone wants to read the translation?
Encourage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So we have to always engage our mind. So this is similar to the 9 kinds of devotional services we read, right? What are those? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Padasevanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. Yeah, that's exactly the same. We are engaging our mind, completely absorbed in Krishna, and fully become a devotee and offer obeisances, Vandanam, and worship me, Padasevanam, then what happens is we will surely attain Krishna. Of that, there is no doubt. And in the previous verse, the one thing I forgot, which is Pratijani he me bhakta pranashyati. He's saying, "Oh Kaunteya, you declare boldly that my devotee never perishes." See, on one hand, he said that Yogakshema Mohamyaham. He's also telling Arjuna, you also promise. Because if Krishna promises, there is one pastime where he said he will not pick up a weapon in
Kurukshetra.
And Bhishma, he also takes a oath that I will make sure Krishna has to break his promise in order to save Pandavas. Then Krishna will ready to always give up his word and keep the devotee's word. So he want to keep the oath or the what Bhishma said. So he catches this wheel and goes in mood to attack Bhishma, and Bhishma drops his arrow and bow, and he says he surrenders. So that shows that he is always willing to make his devotee's word come true. We saw in the word of Prahalad Maharaj and now Bhishma also. That's why he's declaring, Arjuna, you declare that my devotee will never perish. So if Arjuna, when he says that, that means we all who are reading this Bhagavad Gita will understand that Krishna will always come and make sure that he will make us not, he will take care of us. And same from the last yesterday, right? By chanting. Anyone wants to read this?
By chanting the Hare Krishna. Sorry. Yeah, can someone?
You can read one.
By chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one immediately concentrates on the sound vibration and thinks of the lotus feet of the Lord, and very quickly one is elevated to the position of samadhi or trance. If one goes on chanting the holy names of the Lord, which are not different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, naturally his mind becomes absorbed in thought of the Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam 4th chapter, 8th canto and 44th sloka.
Yeah, 4th canto, 8th chapter, 844. Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. So we can understand, right? What is samadhi? People will think that samadhi will be achieved only when we follow the Ashtanga Yoga, because you know the Ashtanga means 8 steps. What are those? Yama, Niyama. What are the other things? Yama, Niyama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Pranayama, Dharana, and then finally Samadhi. Samadhi is the 8th step. What it means is that you have to first do Yama Niyama, means some things you have to do, some things you should not do. Like the same thing, you have to leave your family, go to a secluded place. And asana, you have to do some asanas. Pranayama, you have to learn pranayama. Dharana means you have to keep meditating on one thing for like, so there the first 4 steps are related to the bodily postures and the different aspects. The next 4 steps are related to the mind. Dharana means you have to think of something for like I think 20 seconds. Then you think of it something for like 1 minute, it goes to the next step. Samadhi means you are completely thinking of only one thing for 24 minutes. And that state is not easy. People will spend lifetime after lifetime to achieve that trance state. But if we are doing devotional service, we are constantly thinking of Krishna and his pastimes. We know that, right? There is no difference between the holy name, the Krishna himself, and his pastimes. So even if sometimes we are thinking of the lotus feet of Krishna, sometimes we are thinking about the pastimes he did, sometimes we are hearing to the holy name of his Krishna by chanting the holy name. Constantly we are in samadhi only. So we don't have to worry about doing Ashtanga yoga. By doing Bhakti yoga, we also will achieve samadhi. And once we achieve samadhi, we are no longer in this material world. We are always in the spiritual world. So we also have Srimad Bhagavatam that we are offering. If I think if anyone is interested, it is mentioned that anyone who installs Srimad Bhagavatam in their house, the demigods will come and take darshan every time. It is very auspicious. So whoever has Bhagavatam in their house are visited, their house is visited by demigods, devatas. And so right now we completed half of the chapters 1 to 9. We have 10 to 18. So there is a special program this Sunday on November 24th. More details to come. Gopikanta Prabhu, he is going to Prabhuji, he is going to share the details via WhatsApp. I would recommend if you all can attend that. to discuss more about these 9 chapters in more detail and also meet each other. There are so many, actually, there are multiple languages classes going in parallel. This is English, there is Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Kannada, Korea, all those things are going on. You will be able to meet a lot of devotees. So please try to attend that program on Sunday, November 24th. Okay, any questions? Okay. If no questions, we will say Hare Krishna Mahamantra once, 3 times, and we'll close today's session.
One question, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, actually, from childhood, we have been hearing that Lord Vishnu and Rama, Krishna, and all other forms are the incarnations of Lord Vishnu, right? But now, after joining these classes, now I'm hearing that Krishna is the Supreme Lord and Vishnu, like all other, are incarnations from him. So, which one is first, and what are the incarnations? Like Vishnu and then Krishna, or Krishna and then Vishnu, Prabhuji?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So it's both answers are true. How it is, I will explain. You have the spiritual world, you have the material world, correct?
Mm-hmm.
In the material world, we understand is Krishna's energy that that goes through different cycles: creation, annihilation, creation, annihilation, creation, annihilation. But the spiritual world has always been there, and it is compared to a room full with candles. So you have a room filled with 100 or 200 candles, and all are brightly lit.
Mm-hmm.
Will you be able to say one candle is better than the other candle? All candles are equal, right? Same height, same, they emit the same light. There is no one candle that is better than the second candle.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So let's keep the material world aside for some time. Let's look at the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, all the Vishnu Tattvas, whether it is Vishnu, also Shiva in some aspects, he will come under the Vishnu Tattva also, but we'll not, that's a special topic, we'll keep it for later. And Narsimha, Lord Venkateshwara, or Vamana, Krishna, Balaram, or whoever is the Vishnu Tattva, they are all like these candles. In terms of their glory, their power, there is actually no difference between them. All are equally powerful. But if someone says who is the first candle, that question might come up, right? It really doesn't matter in one sense, like if we all candles are giving equal power and we all have the equal ability to give us liberation. But if you really are inclined in getting understanding what is the first candle, then you would seek a spiritual master and get the details. And since we are in the parampara, based on the knowledge that we got, we can from all the scriptures we have seen, Brahma Samhita, in Srimad Bhagavatam itself, Krishna says, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, means the first candle is Krishna. And from Krishna came Balaram, then Narayana, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Sankarshana, Mahavishnu, and all. Now each of them has different duties. That which means that you are this question came up when we were giving a class to some university students, and they asked the question like, how can you tell like what does the Supreme Lord do? Why did he created this material world and all those things? So then I asked the question, I put the student who asked the question, okay, let's imagine that you are the Supreme Lord for argument purpose or for discussion purpose, and you see that you are the only person existing, and what will you do? He said, I will expand myself, I will make myself a copy, I will sit happily and let that other person do whatever, and I will just enjoy. It turns out that Krishna, who is the original person, he expanded as so many Vishnu Tattvas, and he is spending time happily in Goloka with his devotees. He doesn't worry about the material world. He doesn't about. But one of the expansion of Krishna is Mahavishnu, and his responsibility is to make sure that whoever is the living entities that are in the material world, bring them back. So he agitates this material energy, and through his glands, he creates all the living entities. So if you think from the material world standpoint, Yes, it is Mahavishnu, from whom, if any avatars want to come to this material world, they come through Mahavishnu's body, like they come through Mahavishnu. That's why it appears that Krishna came from Mahavishnu, Rama came from Mahavishnu, Narsimha came from Mahavishnu. That's why it is called that Vishnu is the first person, and from Vishnu all the incarnations came. But if you think from the material standpoint, that is true, right? Because Mahavishnu is the first person who agitated this material world and caused this creation, and all the avatars from the supreme world, the spiritual world, came through him. But if you are looking at the aspect from the spiritual world, Mahavishnu is an expansion of Krishna. So Krishna is before there. So that is how you understand. Is that clear, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So, and that's why people, and there is no, of course, no difference. So, Mahavishnu's place is Vaikuntha, Krishna's place is also Vaikuntha. It's the mood in which it is there. In terms of going to Krishna, the mood is pure love. If you are going to Ayodhya, it is pure. It's Aishwarya Bhava, means it's a relation between a king and a citizen. We love Rama as our king. But Krishna, we can love as Krishna as our child, we can love Krishna as our lover, we can love Krishna as our friend. And similarly, in terms of Narsimha, if we want protection, in the mood of protection, we can always surrender to Narsimha and we can go to the planet of Narsimha, that Vaikuntha planet. It is basically what living in. So that's the beauty of Sanatana Dharma, right? And that's the truth also. There is no beauty here or nothing like that. But since all living entities are made, have their own tastes and rasa, not everyone will have the same mood. Somebody might be willing to accept the Supreme Lord as a protector. Somebody might want to accept the Supreme Lord as a friend, as a husband, as a lover, or someone wants to accept him as a king. So in whichever mood they want, they can go to the corresponding Vaikuntha Loka. Is that clear, Mataji? Any other questions?
Yes, Prabhuji. But no, that's it.
Okay, great, awesome. So we'll say Hare Krishna Mahamantra once, 3 times, and we'll close today's session.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. भगवान श्री कृष्ण परमात्मा की जय, श्रीमद् भगवत गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. All glories to Krishna. Hare Krishna. All glories to Vaishnava devotees. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.